Our text today is the epistle reading. Dear friend, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good. Shanghai Pierce was a colorful character in the early days of Texas history. Pierce built a church on his 200,000-acre ranch. He said, to introduce the natives to religion. Somebody asked Shanghai Pierce, do you belong to the church? Hell no, he said. The church belongs to me. He didn't love the church, serve the church. He owned it, he built it, he controlled it. And that happens more times than you can imagine. Well, it happened in the text before you today. The Apostle John is writing a letter to his good friend Gaius. Gaius is the member of a church that has fallen into the grip of a petty tyrant by the name of Diotrephes. John writes, I wrote to the church, but Diotrephes, who loves to be first, will have nothing to do with us. He doesn't say that Diotrephes was a false prophet, spreading pernicious doctrines that will destroy your soul. Nor does he say that Diotrephes was an overt criminal type, embezzling money from the offering plate, sleeping with the church secretary, molesting the Sunday school children. If you know anything about this, you know that Diotrephes was impeccably orthodox, fastidious about the forms of religion, fasting and tithing, meticulous about Sabbath day rules and regulations. Well, like the Pharisees of Jesus' day, they defy you to find a chink in their shining white suit of armor. The problem wasn't that doctrinal or social or political. The problem with Diotrephes was moral. Diotrephes loved to be first. He replaced Christ with his own ego, shoved God off his sovereign throne, and installed himself. Wherever and whenever that happens, I don't care if it's your family, the workplace, or your church, all kinds of antisocial behavior is sure to follow. Diotrephes gossips maliciously about us, says wicked, evil things that have no basis in fact, and does it behind John's back when he isn't there to defend himself. He refuses to welcome the brothers. The basic hospitality he denies to the men who went out for the sake of the name, instead of sending them on their way in a manner worthy of God. And on top of all of that, he puts a stop to anybody who tries to do it and drives them out of the church. Diotrephes is a go-getter, a man who knows how to get things done. And whenever there was a job to do, a mess to clean up, a problem to solve, Diotrephes stepped right in and did it for people who could have been doing it and should have been doing it for themselves. And then he plays upon that psychologically. After all I've done for you. Diotrephes has got his own agenda. And he manipulates people psychologically, verbally, I don't care. You don't have to tell people twice that they're not wanted, that they're not welcome. Diotrephes does all these things for the church to feed his own ego, to control the church. And boy, if he doesn't get his way, he's angry, frustrated, and vengeful. So, Diotrephes is wrecking the fellowship, cold-shouldering the missionaries, driving the believers out, gossiping, malicious, telling lies about the people, all because he loves to be first. Well, what are you going to do? Now, here's a disappointing answer. Dear friend, do not imitate evil, but that which is good. Well, there's a lame, tame answer if I ever heard one. I was thinking of something a little more gutsy, forceful, something that would work against the troublemaker in the church. People, you got to understand what the church is. If you strip away all the bells and whistles, the stained glass and the candelabra, a church is basically a group of people who are huddled around the means of grace. The gospel in word and sacrament. They may be many in number, they may be few. They may be in a grand cathedral, they may be in the catacombs. The church is not patterned after a corporate structure, like a McDonald's franchise with a bottom line mentality. And knock it off. The church is not patterned after professional sports, Lombardi, and the Olympics. Higher, faster, farther. The church, by its very nature, is unwieldy, plodding, slow-moving, made up as it is of the very young and the very old, the infant and the Alzheimer, pioneers of the faith and stragglers, the able-bodied and the walking wounded, veterans of the cross and novices, unmarriageable in other words. And that's just fine. We ain't supposed to be managing each other. We are supposed to be loving each other and serving each other. You would think, wouldn't you, that the fields of God would grow only good wheat. But no. There's all kinds of thorns and thistles out there in those fields. Weeds and tares among the wheat. You would think, at least I would, that the fishing nets of God would at least catch good fish. But no. The nets sweep through the sea and catch fish of every kind, both good and bad. But wouldn't you think? The very Son of God spending the entire night in prayer could choose 12 good men? No. One of them was Judas, the man who betrayed him. Dear friend, do not imitate that which is evil, but that which is good. We all imitate, copy, pattern ourselves off of somebody, something we've seen. So I've never had an original thought in my life. All of the good stuff I've adapted from somebody far wiser than me. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you learn to walk and talk and eat with a spoon and hit a baseball and drive a car. But be careful who you imitate. Don't imitate Diotrephes, who loves to be first. Jesus is absolutely confident that you can tell. I counted up one time the number of questions Jesus asked in the Gospels. Like, why do you not judge for yourselves that which is right? There were more than 150 of them. So confident in it, Jesus is, that you can think it through, figure it out, and decide for yourselves. You know the story of the Good Samaritan. Jesus said, well, what do you think? Which of the three was neighbor to the man who fell among thieves? I'm not going to tell you. The priest, the Levite, or the foreigner from Samaria? They want to know about paying tax money. Jesus says, show me a coin. Whose picture is on it? Whose name is on it? Figure it out. Who it belongs to if his picture is on it and his name is on it and yours is not. Now that Jesus is patient with us, I mean unbelievably patient, I'll buy that. But there are times when they absolutely took his breath away. They get in the boat, they're crossing the Sea of Galilee, and they forgot to bring lunch along. And they're wondering how in the world they're going to have anything to eat. And Jesus says, series of questions. Why are you talking about not having food? Do you not understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see? Ears but fail to hear? Do you not remember how when I broke 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many basketfuls did you have left over? 12. Let's do this again. When I broke 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls did you have left over? 7? Don't you get it? That I can and I will take care of your physical needs? That's what he's saying here. You people imitate what is good. Man, oh man, why would you imitate what's evil? To know God personally, intimately, and affectionately is to do that which he told you to do in a down-to-earth, practical manner. And they that do evil have not seen God. What do you mean, seeing God? Well, you remember the scene at the Last Supper Good old Philip. Blurts right out in the middle of everything. Lord, show us the Father, and it will be enough for us. Jesus is so taken aback. Have I been so long time with you, Philip, and you still haven't picked up on it? He that hath seen me has seen the Father. You want to know what God looks like, thinks of you, plans for you, expects? Look at Jesus. Now, look at this thing in your life. Does it remind you of Jesus? Some guy pushing his way around. Does it sound like something Jesus would say? Does it look like something Jesus would do? But this is out. Fighting fire with fire, evil with evil, gossip with more gossip. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. But you're saying, what can the righteous do when the foundations are shaken? Well, I'll tell you one thing the righteous can do, and that's keep on being righteous. In season, out of season, fair weather or foul, when you feel like it, when you don't, whether you're praised or whether you're persecuted. Don't worry. God's going to separate the goats from the sheep, the wheat from the tares, the righteous from the unrighteous. But that's Judgment Day. Now is our day of grace. Amen.